once the motivation is there, there will be an obsession. And I'm sure it was similar with you, and I've experienced the same thing. And I've heard this reoccur over and over and over again. The people that come to magic and really do what it takes to develop their mind and the psychic abilities, they almost have given up on life, not because they're like depressed or not capable of living life in this world, but it's almost as they're done with the illusion. It's almost like a certain evolutionary stage that is reached, where it's basically, yeah, I understand this carnal world is what it is. It's like an illusion. It's like an animalistic existence. But now my other part, my higher self, is ready to shine through. And I guess what I'm trying to say here is basically that you have to almost have given up on mundane life, and then you develop a new one. Like, was that your experience as well?
Yeah, I mean, I went through a lot of different stages, and one thing I can say, those thoughts constantly are in my mind. I know that one day I'm running businesses, I'm building stuff, I'm doing lots of things because I got plans, things that I need to do before I die. However, I do know that there's going to be a time in my life where I'm going to drop all of that, because it's in a way, there's much more other work to be done. But until then, this is training for me. This is the way I look at it, as training. I mean, that's the way I look at it now. There was a point where I was depressed and, in addiction and things like that, because you're looking at the world and you're like, what the fuck is the point of this? This is stupid. Why, and all that's, I see like a lot of people who have really good potential end up turning to substances because it is a temporary escape into, and yeah, they might have some cool experiences. However, they always come back, and then they're going to start to rely on that over and over. It turns into a horrible thing, right? And so a lot of those people, if they're lucky to live and get out of it, and they do, some of them, like myself, will start searching for the same thing in a different way. And they find it through, usually occult, magic, sorcery, and things like that. And then when they get a taste of that, it's almost like a new addiction. And honestly, you can't stop, because it's like, I'll never forget the first spell I ever did that worked. I knew it. I think I sent you a message about it. It changed my world that day. I didn't know. It was just like, I was mind blown. You know what I mean? And then so after that, I was like, I could never go back, ever go back to what I was, and since then, it's just, I've been on the, running, I'm like, what's next? What's the next thing? Then you get the next power and you're like, okay, that's cool. I'm bored. What's next? Let's go. Let's get the next one. And that's the way that's my mentality today. I'm greedy in a way. I'm spiritually greedy, and I think that's a good thing though. It's not, I know, yeah, there's lots of different people out there and they have different viewpoints on how things should be. But, honestly, anybody following this path should know that you need to be greedy with your spirituality. You need to get what you can get. You need to experience as much as you can and get as much power as you can, because that's the point that's the point we're here, to have the most intense experiences you can, but maybe, have control over it as well, obviously.
Yeah. And it's funny that you say addiction and all that stuff, because I've seen that again and again and again and again, that like there's nothing else for let's say somebody's an addict, somebody has issues with substance abuse, whatever that might be. But what you can see is that once they find genuine and authentic spirituality, this all of a sudden gives them the power to drop the other addiction. It's because, I mean, substance abuse is nothing but a temporary relief of the torment in their own mind, right, and emotions or whatever, right? And then when a person finds spirituality and a way to escape that without intoxicating themselves, without hurting themselves, but still having the ability to take a break, right? And at the same time, like explore this other part of themselves, they they have the experience of being in the world but not of it, and that kind of like that finally is what gives them the strength to face life without this buffer of the substance, right? And I've heard this so many times that spirituality is really the only thing that can replace the comfort of the drug, right? And yeah, and
Absolutely.
what also, yeah, and it's such a powerful pull, and everybody who's supposed to do this knows this. I mean, at the end of the day, in my life, the vision of sharing these experiences in the other worlds and helping others access their this higher self as well, that was the only thing that was keeping me alive. That like that vision, it was actually a vision that I received in meditation. Like there was nothing that had any meaning in my life. I could have died right then and there, and I wouldn't have been sad about it at all, because like what the fuck, right? But this feeling of being able to help others explore that and to share that in I don't know, in a collective, that was the only thing that was keeping me going. You know what I mean? And I think there are people, and I think that's at the end of the day, that's the destiny that we all have, because the species is going to enter, or our species is going to enter a higher level where we're at a higher level of consciousness, and then like I don't know, telepathic communication, whatever is going to be there, right? But this is something that I think a lot of people have to do, and the more that do it, the better. So I guess what I'm trying to ask here, or to throw the ball back in your court, what is your motivation? Why do you do that? Like, what do you think is the bigger vision? Because obviously, this is only the very beginning. It's like a seed that's planted, and you're gonna be teaching and influencing more and more and more and more people. And also, what I want to say, like teaching always sounds like, maybe because we're used to that from school, it's like I'm the teacher, I'm here, you're here. That's not what that means. Teacher means basically I'm passing on the torch, essentially. That's my understanding of community.